Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is December 12th, 2017, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, just a few numbers coming out, but really pale in comparison to the FOMC number that's coming out tomorrow or the event that's coming out tomorrow at 10 p.m. South African time. So just keep it on your calendar. But just to be aware of these numbers that are coming up right before this massive number comes out tomorrow. So GBP yearly CPI number coming out of United Kingdom, and that's 12:30 South African time. And then at 4:30 South African time, monthly PPI number coming out of the United States. And finally, ECB President Draghi will be speaking this evening, late this evening at 10 p.m. South African time. So we'll take a look at the euro as well. But again, just in light of tomorrow's FOMC statement and rate decision, I think these numbers really pale in comparison. But let's take a look at what's been happening in the markets. We're looking here at the Euro USD, and as you can see, we didn't sustain this second shoulder. We had this reverse head and shoulders. This was the head. This was the first shoulder, but we didn't sustain this second shoulder. And as you can see, we're trading a little bit below 18 at 1778-ish here. Really been in a tight range, and I think that we'll continue being in this tight range as we enter tomorrow's number. I mean, looking at a 1-hour chart, we've been in a 15 to 20 pip range from the beginning of the week, and this was anticipated. I mean, with the FOMC number coming out tomorrow, we're looking for some sort of, directional move, because we had a correctional move for the Euro USD from just below 120 to 115-ish level prior to hitting this 117-ish level. So, ultimately, right, this was the 115 level that we challenged once before. So ultimately, we'd like to see some sort of directional move, either continuation to the slide here from 117 back to 116, 115-ish level, or some continued growth, some continued strength, and maybe a little bit of a rally going into the end of the year. GBP, same story. Nothing really, hitting home. We slid a little bit after, being at 135, a massive rally, and then a correctional move. So really hard to trade this, because this is showing us some lack of direction. Okay, when we're in this relatively large trading range, okay, between 135 and 133.5. This is showing us some weakness. Okay, there's not, it's not a trending market. It's just a range bound market, but it's range bound with some volatility. Now that, for day traders and for scalpers, that's really a great environment to be in order to really capitalize on those type of moves. I'm going to jump to the Dow Jones here, and we're trading here at 24,440, okay, which is challenging close to our all-time highs. Now we're going into the FOMC meeting tomorrow. The Dow Jones is probably the most that will be affected. Mind you also that this is a future contract, so you've got to switch the contracts from the December 17 contract to March 18 contracts. So just keep in mind of that as well. So we're trading here at 24,440-ish level, just shy about 50 points or 60, 70 points from our all-time highs. And we're continuing this in going into the end of the year. And I've mentioned this a few times that this is a very bullish season between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And obviously, we're coming and we're realizing that as we're, coming right back to our all-time highs. Now, I'd like to see some sort of breakout. I'd love to see some sort of ending the year with the all-time highs, and I still think that we can do that. But a lot depends on the mood and the consensus of what the FOMC is going to discuss tomorrow. So, we may have a little bit of a correctional move today, but otherwise we'll be I believe, in a very tight range. Looking at the USD Japanese yen also hasn't, freighted, hasn't really, broken out from these ranges, and it's just, at 113. It may develop into a pretty decent short right here as we get into a little bit of a 113.90-ish level, 114-ish level. I would say that would be a better place for an entry on the short side. So a couple of moves, all together, but nothing really screaming, buy or sell me right now. Looking at gold though, Gold has faltered here on the support move at 1270. We mentioned this the other day, and we're trading at 1245 and just bouncing here, okay, but not a massive bounce. So, if the equity markets decide to continue getting stronger, I would be looking to short the gold here at any possible moment, because I still think that we could hit this 1200 before the end of the year, believe it or not. We may rally in February time as things, over the new year and, going after January, we generally rally into February as this is a cyclical, but, as the end of the year is coming about, we're showing some massive weakness in gold. Looking at just jumping here to the USD CAD, just a little bit of a pivot move right here. Perhaps this would be a very decent short at these 128.42-ish level. Let's take a look at that. If that actually creates, we're at the top of the range here, and it's been showing some relative weakness to it, but every time it hits these levels above this 128-ish level, it slides down. So that might be a nice little play today, where you're a little bit averted to the massive amount of information that's going to be coming out tomorrow. So, on a technical side, not a bad play to actually enter at these levels. Looking at the DAX, we're still holding strong at 13,154, above this 13 level. But I'd still like to see some sort of breakout. I'd still like to see some sort of trending instead of this range-bound situation that we have right here. But ultimately, if it does break out on the upside, we could definitely see a nice end of the year rally. So again, tomorrow, big news coming out of the United States, FOMC. So, just trade lightly, because, ultimately, things are going to be a little bit choppy, a lot less volume, and therefore less follow through. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.